Before we get started, I'd like to read a brief our regular disclaimer. Pursuant to Governor Pritzker's Executive Order 2020-07, COVID-19 Executive Order Number 5, which suspends the requirement of the Illinois Open Meeting Act requiring in-person attendance by members of a public body during the duration of the gubernatorial disaster proclamation. The members of the village board will not be physically present for the designated board meetings, but will instead be participating in the meeting through audio access using a virtual meeting platform. Public comments may be submitted in advance of the meeting to Village Clerk D. Jones at djones@university-park-il.com or by text message to the Village Clerk at 708-473-6201. All comments must be received by 5 p.m. the day before the meeting. In order to give proper consideration to all items on this agenda, the mayor will limit participants in the debate and will close off protracted, repetitive, irrelevant, or abusive remarks. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance, Madam Clerk.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic
of
which we stand,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty
and
justice for all.
Is there a motion for approval of the minutes?
So move.
Motion. Second.
Moved by Trustee Brooks. Who made the second? Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Williams. Roll call, Madam. Question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams.
Sorry.
Votes aye. Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
I'm sorry. Trustee Brooks.
Oh, vote side.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Vote aye.
Trustee Franklin.
Vote aye.
Trustee Bolden.
Vote aye.
Trustee McMullen.
Did an email come in?
Vote side.
And Mayor Rudez.
Votes aye.
Thank you.
General public comments, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Mr. Mayor and Board, I received 3 public comments.
Yeah. Oh, it
Can
came
you hear?
in. Okay, it came in.
Yeah.
Okay, give it to me.
Wait.
How
You
much?
said how much percentage?
Yeah.
I've got a lot of noise in the background. I received 3 public comments, and I will read them in the date order received. The first one was received from Deborah K. Taylor on July 8th at 4:21 a.m. It says, question, who is Jeffrey Cohen? Is he a resident of University Park? Why, how, by whom was he chosen to be the host of the Mayor's Corner? Were others, residents, given the opportunity to apply, interview for this position? Will others, residents, be given the opportunity to apply, interview to be the host of the Mayor's Corner? If so, how soon? Please submit details on the village website. The second comment is from Deborah Stroud, received July 13th, 2020 at 3:41 p.m. It reads, on Saturday, July 11th, 2020, as a deputy registrar, I was present at the Regal Farm community cleanup. I believe Monee Township Democrat Precinct Committee woman, Sonia Jenkins, deserves a round of applause for spearheading the beginning of a much needed restoration of the farm. She has been working very hard toward making this happen. Kudos as well to the countywide officials, participants, and volunteers and guests that came to make a vast difference to what the farm looked like 2 days ago. Deborah J. Stroud, Moni Township Democratic Precinct Committee woman. To you, Trustee Jenkins.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Trustee Jenkins.
Yeah, the third one was received from Gina Williams, July 13th, 2020 at 4:42 p.m. And it reads, number one, my first question is directed to whoever handles the website. Why aren't the old agenda items on the website? Number two, again, why are FOIA requests never, if ever, completed on time? And why do you choose to give us what you want us to have and not what we ask for? This question is directed to the clerk or deputy clerk. Number three, how can a person be a union rep, but also hold a non-union position? Isn't this a conflict of interest? I was a union rep and never seen this done. This question is directed to the village manager. Number four, if the jobs for youth pass tonight, who will do the interviewing and hiring? This is directed to the village manager. Sent 7/13/20 at 4:42 p.m. That's it, sir.
I'm sorry. Is there anything, thank you. Is there anything that anybody would like to have removed from the agenda?
Yeah, Mayor, I didn't get a chance. I was busy. F2E,
Just a moment.
and that's it for me. F2E.
And I'm gonna also pull F2E, the appointments, because I want to do that separately because of.
Well, that's what he's asking to pull this F2.
Right. He's asking
Yes.
for F2E, Mayor. So
Oh, that's what I thought you said D. I'm sorry.
No.
No, E Edward. E Edward.
All right.
Okay. Is that it?
Okay. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved, Mayor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee, moved by trustee Brooks, moved by second by trustee Shirley Bolden. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, is it okay if I read into the record the content?
Yes, ma'am.
We have F2A, which is a resolution approving and authorizing the implementation of the Village of University Park's 50/50 shared cost sidewalk replacement program. F2B is a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement by and between the Village of University Park and Baxter and Woodman, Inc. for the Cicero Avenue project. F2C is an IDOT resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement by and between the Village of University Park and IDOT for railroad crossing improvements. F2D is a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement by and between the Village of University Park and Ontario LLC. Now, we can Roll call on the consent agenda. Mr.
Roll,
Wicks.
roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams,
Votes aye.
Trustee Brooks,
Votes aye.
Trustee Jenkins Bell,
Votes aye.
Trustee Franklin,
Votes aye.
Trustee Bolden,
Votes aye.
Trustee McMullen,
Votes aye.
Mayor Rudez.
Votes aye.
Mr. Mayor, all of those are approved and the resolution numbers are R 2020-11, R 2020-12, R 2020-13, and R 2020-14. Now we have the discussion on,
Item F2E.
yes,
Trustee Brooks.
Yeah, Mayor. No, when I seen it, I know that we had took Park and Rec out of the ordinance as well as the budget. As far as the youth committee, I was just confused because I know we replaced it with it was supposed to be a $30,000 part-time job. The title was youth special events coordinator, and so I didn't know if this is something new. I didn't see anything else on it when in the Dropbox. So, and then I see you asked about it, so maybe you can explain. I just seen 2 trustees to it too, so
Right.
I didn't know what's going on.
And that's all I wanted to do is appoint the trustee liaisons, Donzel Franklin to the Youth Commission, Trustee Sonia Jenkins to the Park and Rec Advisory as a liaison. And they'll work on their membership for next board meeting. Now, I was completely unaware of that scenario that you just spoke about, Trustee Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard somebody say, yeah. Oh, okay.
That was
I thought
Trustee Bolden, because
okay.
I got question mark about that.
if
Yeah.
I could clarify that,
Okay.
that committee was not removed. It was held in reserve rather than remove it completely. It was not removed.
Okay.
It was not removed. If you look at your meeting schedule for 2020, it is
Okay.
on your meeting schedule as held or something, but it's still on the meeting schedule. But there
Right.
are no members. And if I could add something else to that, Mr. Mayor, I think I mentioned to you, I pulled the ordinance on the Parks and Recs Advisory Committee and the youth, which the youth committee is included in that ordinance. I think for what we're trying to do, this ordinance that's on the books, I think needs to be amended. Quite a few amendments need to be made to make it workable for our time now, because the original document includes, like, I think it's 21 members with members from police department. That's why that's why I'm bringing this up. So that you guys would be aware for what's on the books, there needs to be some amendments because it also includes members from the police department, fire department. I think I mentioned this to you, Trustee Jenkins, didn't I? Yeah, that I think we might want to take a look at amending that ordinance before moving forward on any more appointments. So now you've got your
I've got my trusted liaisons.
that they can start working on the amendments.
Yeah, I was going to say the trustee Franklin and Jenkins Bell will be, now they're appointed, they'll be working on what needs to be done, right?
Right.
Okay. I yield my time there.
All right. So may I have a motion, please?
So
Wait a
move.
minute.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Just a
Go ahead.
moment.
I'm sorry.
Just a moment.
Yeah.
Motion to, okay.
I had a
Motion to approve. Motion
Trustee Franklin,
I had a quick comment to make, if that's okay.
go ahead, trustee.
Okay. So, German Shepherd or something?
That's my little schnauzer. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Trustee Brooks, you're exactly right. So, with the appointments, we'll begin to work on making the adjustments to the ordinance that need to be made, and begin having more conversations around what youth development will look like in the community. So, I think
Right.
this is an important step in the right direction, and I think myself and Trustee Jenkins are the perfect people for these appointments. Those are my comments.
All right. Well, thank you so much for accepting those, and let's work and make it. Let's get it tight and let's make it right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I can do the roll call. I
Yes,
found-
ma'am.
Yes, please.
Okay. Trustee Williams,
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks,
Both sides for my two trustees.
Trustee Jenkins Bell. There's one other person on these appointments.
Yeah, there's also Roberson that's as
Yeah.
well.
My
Yes.
my motion included that too.
Right.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Trustee Jenkins Bell,
Vote aye.
Trustee Franklin,
Vote side for the youth.
Trustee Bolton,
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen. Trustee McMullen,
He's having some technical problems. Oh, no, let's see. Oh, hold on. Trustee McMillan, he was there. It's going in and out. Oh, he's here, he's here.
okay.
Yeah.
Trustee
wait.
McMullen,
Both aye.
okay. And Mayor Rudez.
Vote aye.
Okay. Thank you, guys. You know, we did it, the consent agenda. Thank you. I'm excited.
Okay. Attached to your approval is a listing of general operating expenses for the Village of University Park that occurred on June 24th, 2020 through July 14th, 2020. General Fund, $48,655.68. Town Center Fund, $6,574.05. Capital Project, $26,494.05. TIF 4, $1,000. TIF 5, $1,000. And TIF 6, $1,000. Payroll Fund, $892, with a grand total of $85,615.78. Is there a motion?
Oh, let's see.
Come on, guys.
Come
A
on.
motion. A motion.
A second.
Thank you.
Motion by Trustee Bolden. Was it motion by Trustee Bolden?
Yeah.
No, it was motion by Elizabeth Williams.
Trustee Williams.
Okay. Second by Trustee Franklin.
So now would be if there's any discussion, Mayor.
Go ahead, Attorney Miller.
Now, Mayor, I would just say, Mayor, now you can open up if there's any discussion amongst the board, the trustees in regards to the bills payables.
Mm-hmm. I think they're sorting them out and looking through if they have any questions.
Okay.
Just a quick question, because I heard from nobody. You guys did get these bills payable and stuff in your drop boxes last week. Right.
Yeah, last Thursday or Friday. Yeah, good.
Last week. Just checking.
So, what did I see? Capital.
Trustee?
Yeah, just for clarification, I think we talked about this, but just for clarification on the capital improvement, it says, oh, I can read it now. It said fire equipment payment.
Yeah, it's an ambulance there.
I'm sorry.
It's an ambulance.
Okay, all right. I couldn't read it. It was so small.
Oh, it's
That's
near
why I
you.
was. Okay, thank you. Because I couldn't figure out what it was. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. I don't know what else anybody else was looking for.
Check the 839 White Oak Lane escrow refund. Can someone explain to me what that is?
What's the number of the check?
9653. DLC Properties Incorporated. 830.
All right, yeah.
2400 839 White Oak Lane escrow refund.
Yes.
Okay, hold on for a second.
DLC properties.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It should be listed on there. Got a couple of them on here. You
What
see the
check number
backup?
was that? What check number was that?
It's 9653. 9653.
9653.
9653.
Yeah.
And it's also on the back
I'm
page.
sorry, that's the vendor number. I apologize.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah,
Okay.
general funds, right.
Sorry,
Hello,
the check-
Mayor and the board.
The check number is 105-492.
Oh, okay.
105-492.
Can they hear me?
Right, there, yes.
Right, so the escrow refund.
It's on the back
Yeah.
page too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it had to do with some money that was initially paid and the village agreed to repayment. So it was some monies that came as a result of some kind of escrow payment to this property company.
Jacilia Kelly is on the call, Mayor Board. She's on the call for any of those questions.
Okay,
It's
Mr.
for
Kelly.
those.
Good evening, Mayor and board. How are you?
Hi.
Fine, good evening.
Listen, the escrows are monies that's put up for if the property is being sold. So if they have any repairs. So what happens is they'll come to the village and put up an escrow. And once the work is completed, the village returns back their money. So that's what those properties that you see on the bills payables, we're returning money because they've satisfied the requirements.
Of the ordinance.
Jacilia, can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say, okay, the money that you return back to 839 White Oak Lane, that's the money that they put up for extra. So that's their money and not the village money?
Correct.
It's
Correct.
their money.
Okay.
It's almost like a refund. That's why I
So
said that.
it was refunded after the work was completed?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, was it refunded after the work was completed?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks for the clarity.
That's a mean joker.
And about as big as your hand.
Oh,
Is that it, sir?
Okay, and
no.
Trustee
May
Jenkins.
we recognize?
Go ahead, Trustee.
I'm Diane Alexander birthday refund. I wanted to know, did you all get a list of how many people that we had to make refunds to? Because it seems as if every bill's payable, all of these refunds to these parties. So how many parties was it? How many do we have to go? And we need to know where we're at with this. because list of how many parties they had booked, and they had booked them, who they were, because the last bills payable was $900. So we need to take a good look at this.
Trustee, let me just say what they do is we don't know when, what. They email me or email Kelly or somebody. Basically, they'll email me, and what the requirement is, they have to provide for us the contract and provide for us the pay receipt, who took the money. They provide it, we then make the payment. It's been paid, so we have no choice. So, and we don't know how many there will be, but we know it's between the period up to at least February, or it could have been some coming, like for example, there were some in June. So it could be whatever time, but it's indicated on the contracts, but it's just our responsibility. And we keep a record of it. We keep a record of it. And also Mr. Shorter is made aware of that. So as it comes, so it has to be a sanctioned receipt and a contract. Now we've gone to blow with people because they paid their money and they feel their credit card receipts are enough. We don't reimburse on that. We want to see a contract and we want to see a receipt, a paid receipt, and then we pay it.
My question now is, how far in the future?
Can't tell you that. Can't tell you that at this point. We have some lists that were given, but we don't know if people made down payments, if they were refunded or not. So when they come in, we do that. We take that to confirm. So I can't answer that. I can't clearly answer that.
Okay.
You know, not at this point. But we just want to make sure legally we do the right thing.
Anybody else? All right, you ready for a roll call, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Williams,
Votes aye.
Trustee Brooks,
Votes no, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Jenkins Bell, Trustee Jenkins Bell,
And did she mute it? We may have.
Trustee Jenkins Bell. I'm sorry.
Votes aye.
Trustee Franklin,
Votes aye to pay our bills.
Trustee Bolden,
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen,
Votes no.
Mayor Rudez.
Votes aye.
Mr. Mayor, motion carries.
Okay. Any reports of any trustees tonight? Village manager?
Yes. Wait a minute. Yes. Wait. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Mayor, may I be recognized?
Trustee, go right ahead.
Yes, I want to take the time to just thank everyone that came out on Saturday. Trustee Bolden, Trustee Franklin. I got phone calls from Trustee Brooks, also Madam Clerk, and there's also you, Mayor, and Mrs. Mayor, First Lady, Ms. Rudez, and everyone in the community. I appreciate them so much for coming out and supporting this effort that I put together. I also want to send a thanks out to Money Township Democrats, our chair, Billy Morgan. I took the time and I gave him the idea and he joined me and we both ran with it, and I am so grateful to him. Ms. Nora Goomberg coming from Will County Central Committee Democrats, and as well as the senators and all the elected officials from Will County Board was present. And I just wanted to really thank them for coming out and supporting this effort here in Eastern Will. They're showing me that they are men and women of their word, and they're going to support us. And I'm just so appreciative for allowing you, Mayor Rudez, as well as Madam Miss E, Village Manager Clerk, Miss Village Manager Ernestine, and she, it's been a long road. It's been a hard road. It's been a lot of begging, a lot of crying, it's been some, and to get this money and put it toward Regal Farm has been more than I'm just overwhelmed with joy. And me and Trustee Franklin, believe me, we're gonna make every dollar count. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee, and thank you for spearheading that event.
Okay, I'd like to say something, Mayor. May I be recognized?
Trustee, go ahead, Trustee Williams.
I want to say, I thank you too, Sonia Jenkins, Trustee Sonia Jenkins. I am sorry that I couldn't make it. I had a family emergency that I wasn't in town. So therefore I didn't show up, but I would have been there. I appreciate,
I know.
I truly appreciate everybody. I saw the video on it, and I appreciate everybody that was there that helped out on this program. I am truly sorry I couldn't make it.
There'll be more times, Trustee Williams.
Oh, we got some more times, and believe me, I'm calling.
I know it's a lot that needs to be done. It's a whole lot that needs to be done.
Oh yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
Oh,
then you, Trustee Brooks. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
I would too like to join in to say congratulations to our trustee, Sonia, for spearheading that event. And you did something that's pretty hard to do, and that's to get Western Will County to Eastern Will County to do something to help our community. So I can imagine what you went through, but it's like we say, we're moving on up. And thanks for your effort. And all those people who participated, I did tell you why I could make it. But thank you.
There'll be some more times coming, Madam Clerk. You know it.
I know.
We are working at it.
First one I've missed.
Trustee Brooks. Oh, I'm sorry. Trustee Brooks.
Can you hear me, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Just want to say to the residents, just want to address a couple issues. On July 4th, I want everyone to please understand that on that day, I have to say that I was on the phone with residents who actually called. Please understand that this 4th of July was a very unusual 4th of July. 31 phone calls were coming in within 20 minutes on the 911 system. I want the residents to understand, considering that my latter years of being a patrol officer compared to my first years, you can kick out 20 calls at me and I would write it down, but I would get there and, handle the call and keep going. But nowadays, everything, like I said, my latter years, there's a clock. So that I watch our officers haul tail from call to call to call. So if you call the trustee upset about it, trust me, we all were trying to figure out a way, at least on my end, those who knew that I can probably reach out to somebody, and I did. Unfortunately, I didn't want to ruin anyone's vacation, but I want to say thank you for Chief Wilson, who helped with the Lairway communication. On that first shift, they did stay over. I want to say thank you to Officer Jaco, who was the officer in charge that first shift until 2100 hours. After that, I would like to thank Sergeant McNair, as he was on that second shift running, just running like crazy. Anyone who's seen Jimmy Kimmel that week after over LA, in which I think fireworks are illegal there too. If you can just see the fireworks that were popping off, many of us who served in the Army, I apologize, or served in the war, I apologize if you have any form of PTSD, but this was a very, very unusual 4th of July, and I think we had 5 units on the streets, which that is a lot, and they were running from call to call, and the shifts were overlapping. Also, I would like to say, the mayor may come after this, but a lot of residents always asking about Aqua. Let me say that our mayor and village manager is on the phone weekly. This week, I think we were in a very extensive conversation, the three of us with the Attorney General. Our concern was our kids, if it's possible, they're going back to school, will they be able to drink that water? And I think we learned that the Piping's about 72% coated. It's plateaued, but I can tell you that on the phone call, the mayor had Senator Joyce, and I mean, we're back and forth, folks. I know it seems like you may not get any news, but I will say that there are moments where, thank God I'm on the phone when the mayor is upset and he hangs up that phone because he gets frustrated, you know, because he's asking how long is this going to take. We hear your cries about the the jugs of water. We hear you about that. Trust me, every week we are in there arguing about that. I think Trustee McMullen had made it clear about his mother-in-law. She can't even pick up the bottle. We have several, Madam Clerk, we have people who, and we have been complaining, but please understand that it is a legal definition that they have played with in order to give us that, which we can't do anything else about it. Also, the mayor had, we tried to fight about the sewer costs. We've been asking, please, we'll waive sewer costs and talk to residents more about flushing. But Mayor, I'll let you more talk about that if, you know, when it's your time to talk about it. But I just want to say that we are fighting. Lastly, I want to say to Trustee Jenkins Bell, very passionate. And I would say that I'm very proud because one thing I know we were supposed to sit down and talk on when it comes to money in Regal Farm. When a trustee is determined, anything's possible. Anything's possible. And we all have our certain traits. That's why you elect us, and that's what makes us unique. Until then, I'll say please be safe and enjoy the rest of your July.
Thank you, Trustee Brooks. Anyone else?
Yes.
Trustee Franklin?
Yeah, so I just want to say we are in week 2 of the 7th year of running our Lion Heart Strength and Conditioning Camp. This year, of course, has been a very unique year considering COVID-19 and different protocols and procedures that we've had to put in place. But I will say that we have successfully entered into week 2. We've been checking temperatures of our children on a daily basis, and I'm proud to say that we haven't had any elevated temperature of our children thus far, and we're averaging about 90 to 95 kids each day out there. We spread the camp out to where we're practicing social distancing, and of course the kids are thrilled to be able to come back to life, so to speak. So it's been a blessing to really see one thing happening in the community that's showing some signs of positivity and signs of getting back to normalcy, but we're also being very cautious and making sure that we're putting in the protocols that are recommended by the CDC as it relates to youth sports. Also, I would like to acknowledge and thank Trustee for putting together the project at Regal Farm this weekend, which is somewhere that's I'm very passionate about Regal Farm myself as a kid who went to camp there and had other activities growing up at Regal Farm, so I really know the potential. So I was excited to be able to be a part of the movement. And I believe it's really important that we recognize each other and we give credit when credit's due. You know, it's a lot of stuff that goes on in our communities, and I say our communities, Black communities, where there's this crab in a bucket mentality where we don't want to see other people shine. And I really think it's important that us as a board, the more family oriented we become, the more stronger force that we become. So I think we're doing a really good job. As a kid, I watched the boards that argued and did different things, and I'm proud to be a part of a board that is getting along and that we're really making progress and being respectful to each other. But more importantly, I'm proud to be a part of a board that's willing to acknowledge other board members that are doing great things. The type of things that you put together are the type of events that will really move the village forward. And it shows progress, it shows determination, and it shows the residents that we're willing to get out there and make things happen. Those are my comments. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Trustee Franklin. Good job with the young people out there.
Mayor, may I
Oh.
Yes, sir, Trustee McMullen.
I would just like to say thank you to Trustee Jenkins Bells for her due diligence in getting Regal Farm together now. This is just the beginning. And all the trustees who came out on Saturday and was able to do it, I really take my hat off to you, because doing my 9 to 5 every day is very difficult sometimes to get on the call in the evening. But I would like to thank everybody that's doing the work while I'm at work, and doing the work as a trustee and as a board member. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And Trustee Brooks, I appreciate you for getting on that call every week. We've been talking about this water for a long time, and it's very serious. And I know Senator Joyce is working with University Park and Mayor Rudez. I know he's working with them, and I really appreciate that. You all don't know that I really appreciate the fact that you're doing work while I'm at work. And you don't have to do that, but you are doing that. And I appreciate it. And even on Saturday and Sunday when you volunteer, I'm dead tired by Saturday because I worked all week, but my spirit is there. I'm not there sometimes, but my spirit is there. But I appreciate you all doing that. I really do. And Brooks is laughing. I'm telling the truth, man. So my hat's off to each and every one of you. I love you all. And this board is really working. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your fine comments, Trustee McMullen. Go ahead, Trustee Jenkins.
I can't leave without saying this one thing. It all started from me joining one little organization that was just a few people, 3 all together, and then we got together and it grew. And the organization consists of Ms. Mary Truss, Ms. Deborah Stroud, Ms. Marion Morrell, and so many others, Mr. Keith Griffin. And what they did was they lit a fire under me in reference to Regal Farm. And I just could not go on without acknowledging the Community Block Club and its efforts to just get this rolling. And I have to take the time and just really thank Senator Joyce if he's working as hard as he's working hard with Aqua. And he is a man of good integrity. And he is not playing any games with them. And he came out, I could not believe, cutting down trees and all these different things. I mean, just unreal. And I just have to say thank you so much for them coming out. And thank you to Ms. Truss for making us not forget Regal Farm, because it's been an everyday conversation for years. And I just want to thank Ms. Stroud for all of her support and different things like that in this effort as well, and as well as everyone else. And I'm just so grateful to all of the trustees that I work with. You guys, I love you guys. Your spirits were there. If you weren't there, I just know that you're gonna be there again, because we're gonna do it again. So Curtis, we're gonna wait on you, okay? I'm gonna wake you up. I'm gonna get you up early.
That's fine.
All right. Anybody else?
Mayor, am I going to be allowed to give my report, or is this...
Yes, madam. Yes. After you, Ms. Ernestine. Go ahead. Right ahead.
All righty. First of all, the village has been very successful in getting approved for grants that have been put out there. We put out there an Invest in Cook grant back in January. You know, when grants come up, if it's possible and we fit in there anyway, you know, have the engineers get the stats, we put it out there and it's gone. That's what happened in January. And in the interim from January to now, Cook and Will County want to be a part of this surge of economic development that's happening and that is pending to happen with the village. Meetings are being set every day in terms of businesses want to come in, and I'm just not talking about small businesses, but the larger businesses, the banks, the bigger development. And we're going to make sure that the board get informed and we go through the proper procedure and staff meet with these people to give them early starts on assuring that they don't turn around and say no. So we need to start remaining as positive as possible so as not to put out any adverse whatever in terms of the village. But in the meantime, back to what I was saying, Steger Road seems to be a problem with citizens of Richton Park. They are afraid because Steger Road going east from Cicero, as you know, has been vacated. So Steger Road from Cicero going west is the street that is not vacated. And they're concerned that there's going to be some issues regarding the big heavy equipment tearing up their roads. Since Steger Road is a county road per se, we went to Cook County and an Invest in Cook grant. And as of yesterday, the day before, we understand that the committee that makes the selections will be recommending our projects from this. I mean, the board president of Cook County is looking at this, about this moving forward, which means that they want us to, the engineer, to lay out the provisions, to give them a design of what kind of format the street is going to be constructed with regards to milling, a bituminous base, what they're looking at. So we are up for funding for that. We're also meeting with the Economic Development Director and the Homeowners Association directly across the street. They have requested that we meet with them because they want to know how we're not going to tear up their streets. They want to see our plan, the plan that the village is attempting to develop right now. So it's an ingress, egress plan we'll be able to split the traffic between the traffic coming out on Central and or on Steger Road, exiting on Steger North or University Park South. So that's something. The other thing is we have now officially been approved for the ICC U.S. Railroad grant, $198,000 that the village has been trying to get. We're doing that in phases. The village had to guarantee them that we do approximately 150 feet east of there from where they stop to approximately the opening to the Metro station going into Metro. Now, regarding the monies we got for that permit, the monies for the permit, we're looking to do those special kinds of things that the village would not otherwise be able to do, which means that we had to come up with a max of a $60,000 max. That includes the cost of resurfacing from the point that the railroad stops, and they want to see the layout. So I think the engineering is something like 2,000 and something, but the total cost does not exceed 60,000. I appreciate you all approving that tonight. So now we're ready. We're going to start with the engineers doing the topo and getting this into the railway system and ICC, because they're looking for us. We have to have this entire project completed by the end of November, the entire project. So we've committed to making sure that that's done. So tomorrow I will be on the case. Again, thank you all. The other thing is, and there is a match that we're looking to come out of this, that $952,000. But I sent everybody a summary of that when I gave you a summary of the scope for the Cicero Avenue Streetscape program with Baxter and Whitman. And I broke it down as simple and as thorough as possible, so you all will know how the first thing we did when we got in here, we inventoried either pending grants and why they never went through, or new grants. That grant was here, but it didn't go anywhere because there was no eye in terms of where the monies were going to come from for 2 years for engineering. So I think with the system of how we got this permit money was a godsend, because what's happening is $112,000 of that for a 2-year period has got to be earmarked for that because the budget does not have the money to compensate for that. Is everything okay, y'all? Okay. So anyway, so that's $112,000, and then the $60,000 for the match for the railroad crossing, and then we're looking at $125,000 for Regal Farm. The engineers have made some priority kinds of things that should be done initially for safety to start off. So as it goes, I will be, as soon as we finish with these audits, back into IDNR with our proposal to pick up some more monies for the phase 2. All we got to do is get our audits back online, and we're back in that door with the proposal with some little alterations in it, but basically the same. It was we were told that we had basically the number 2 proposal, so it was a very strong, sound proposal. So we're going back with that. But so it'll be $125,000, and based on what you all did tonight, the committee will be. I will be in the committee sitting down with them, and we're going to go through and have the engineer to work it up and work it out. Even though Trustee Jenkins is continuing to move. She already says that we're gonna need this, but you know, you gotta keep in money. Believe it or not, this $125,000 is gonna do a lot. So we're gonna work it out and we're gonna spend it thriftily until we can get to phase 2. The other amount is the summer work program. The summer work program this year is crucial, and I'll be bringing this to the board in form of the approval to do basically all of this, even though this $952,000 came in here for permitting and was not earmarked. Right now, it's in an escrow account and it's not in general fund because it's earmarked, so we can begin to match it and get a lot more. We can stretch the penny much further. What I'm going to do is I've already laid out the job descriptions. They're going to be, and I was looking at how many in the past. Generally, you all have had an average of 6 summer workers. And so this year, we'll be able to do 13 summer workers. And these 13 summer workers will be predominantly in the Public Works Department, and they're going to be divvied out predominantly like working in the area of outside in the police department, the village hall, the fire department, and with areas of public work desire. We had initially talked to 2 volunteers that were going to help us with that program, but those 2 volunteers are independent village volunteers, which means it becomes a legal issue with insurance. But with the public works, the mechanics department and the police department, the coordination between the departments working together, they've gotten the van out there working. So now we got, not the van, the step van, you know, the step van out there, the village's step van that used to be used to carry citizens around. Well, it's going to be used now to take summer youth workers to work sites. And we're going to have the assistance of the police department, in-house staff to work with it to make sure it's done. The students will get $9.50 an hour. They will work a maximum of 4 hours a day, either 8 to 12 or 9 to 1. So they'll be working, there are 13 of them working 20 hours a week, making $9.50 an hour, working with a max of 6 weeks, comes to about $14,800, whatever it is. I just rounded it off to $15,000. So we can actually administer a full summer program for 13 people from University Park to work in this. So,
Village manager,
Manager.
if you don't mind me asking, Mayor, can I be recognized? How is that? How are those jobs allocated to the different departments? How's it done? Who's going to
Okay.
get what out of the 13? Please.
It was a part of our staff meeting. So we discussed who what. We can't do it in IT. I had one designated for IT, but there's some serious health issues pending. We don't want to expose a participant to that. Police department, they would have to go through a background to get access to inside. The fire department has an issue with a enclosure provision. The village hall has showed some apprehensions, but we're still going to have one effective as of Monday. We're doing major social distancing. Now every department has their thermometers. They have to have employees' temperature taken every day because based on reports, they're becoming a rise of cases again. So they're gonna have a temperature checked every morning and the mask and the gloves. And anybody that comes inside of the village hall, regardless if it's an employee or what, they will have their temperature taken. Police department, fire department, public works, all departments got the automatic temperature, okay? And they know we've already discussed clean after every use, whatever, scan, whatever. But we got to begin to do that. We've had one issue with one employee that did contract COVID-19, went through the process. But if you've been looking, there's not to say that it won't come back again, you know, and a lot of people just don't believe it's still out here. It's very live. So anyway, so we discussed who was going where. So the department that gets most of them are the public works. Public works will get a bulk of them. They need help. And we're laying it out. We got little mini job descriptions in terms of what we're going to be doing in what department. We intend to do one-day interview. This was brought to us, and then based on experience, it's very difficult to get people to come out and make applications. But we're going to have one day, all staff, all hands on board, all staff, all hands on board. If you're in your department, you're part of the interview. If they are going to be shared with your department, you're part of the interview. So we're interviewing all of them. They got to bring in a driver's license to verify that they live in University Park. They live in
Manager, can I just ask 1 second? What are the ages?
16 to 21.
Okay.
And that circumvents the village from any liability, 16 to 21.
That was going to be my next question. How are we going to handle the liability if someone so happened to catch COVID and try to say University Park did it?
They're going to, first of all, we have a form that they have to sign. There's a form that they have to sign, and we got to cover them under workers' comp for any physical agility issues, whatever that comes as a right. But there's a form that they have to sign, and they are covered under. They don't get any other fringe benefits, so that's it. And they have to sign that. It's a form.
But in reference to the police, the reason why I asked that is that I tried to do community service with when I was in juvenile, and for whatever reason, I guess most departmental and most municipalities, I guess they start shying away from those under 21 being inside the police department.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
Okay.
We discussed that too. Police and fire. That's why we started out, but ultimately we all ended at the same last place. We're all in agreement now in terms of where they're going and how, in instances with public works, they're going to actually provide services to the police in the back and the fire department and all of that. So it's a one-day deal. By the end of the day, one-day deal. End of the day, 5 p.m., all decisions will be made. So if a person, we're going to put it everywhere. And believe me, we haven't had an opportunity to put it out, to really put it out. But people are ready to come, make app, want to know. And when they come in that building, I don't care if they know Trustee McMillan or whoever, that we have the line spacing. They got to stand in the line. We got to practice social distancing, guys. So we just all got to know they can't bombard in there. There is going to be a practice. Some people are going to wait. Others are not. If they don't wait, there's nothing we can do. We can't pull them all in. It's 4 because of the distancing are allowed in the out open, but they're 6 feet apart all the way in the hall, and I'm sure they're going to be going out of the door. So you all will know we're going to do it, trustees, as close to the law, because we don't want anybody saying that we're not doing what we should be doing, Trustee Brooks. So we're trying to make sure that. Also, at the end of the day, we'll be sitting at the table and ready. But what we got to look, we're going to have to ask basic questions, major health issues. We've got to. I talked to a rep at the state Department of Health. I keep looking at Trustee McMullen smiling in this picture, and I'm thinking I'm looking at him versus the physical him. But anyway, let me keep going. Anyway, so it's just, so we call the state. That's one of the major questions, is that are they ill? What kinds of illnesses do they have? And these kinds of things, we've got to ask them that. And if they've been hospitalized and blah, 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 without violating HIPAA, we got to ask basic kinds of questions. It's to protect them, and it's to protect us as well. So that's what the work is. So if you got whoever, the 15th, tomorrow, we're going to just start opening. But Thursday is when we're going to give them a day. We're going to put them out there. I bet you when we put it out there, we're going to be bombarded. They're going to wait until we open. We're going to open the doors at 9 a.m. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. for straight all day interviewing. 9 to 4 p.m. all day. So no 9 to 4 p.m. nobody's going to be taking lunch. They aren't taking lunch really now, but I mean 9 to 4. People are going to be coming in all day, all day. So we're going to do that, and we got to be very concerned about the conference room. We don't want anybody standing out in the area, so we're going to try to be. So we're asking if y'all, whoever you know, if they're from the ages of 16 to 21 and they can prove it, fine. We want this really to be some kind of skill-oriented training, so they can really get to be like in the TV station, whatever. We're going to look at somebody that has done broadcasting in the high school, videotape. So we really want folk to come in to learn something, even if they're willing to learn, okay? And if somebody tells us, well, the only reason I'm down here, and I've heard that, is because my mama made me. I said, well, baby, you need to consider coming because you want a job, you know? So it's all kinds of things we know we're going to ready to deal with just to do that. And also, I want to mention to you all that, so it's going to go on until end of August. We're hoping to start Thursday, and it will end by the end of August. They're going to be, they're going to work for 30 days, okay? 30 days. Program is going to only be for 30 days, 20 hours a week at $9.50 an hour, plus 16 through 21. So anybody, very simple. The other thing is what we're going to initiate, we're going to doing up the specs for this is to initiate the 50-50 sidewalk cost share program. The 50-50 sidewalk program, the dollars are coming out of motor fuel tax. What people, and I had to explain today in a meeting, what it is what folk are not understanding. When housing developers build these housing developments, they put in sidewalks. The sidewalks are contiguous to the village's right of way. So what happens is the village shares in the cost of liability, but it's also the responsibility of a homeowner. Let me tell you what happens when a person falls on a sidewalk in front of somebody's house that has a sidewalk that's a tripping hazard. They're going to go to that, try to sue that homeowner, and they're going to try to to the village. That's why motor fuel tax allows the village to create 50-50 sidewalk programs. We have to go out for bid with a contractor. There is an application that an individual comes in to complete. They can complete these applications. We date them. I sent you all the actual guidelines for the project. There's special provisions that are given to seniors, but we're looking to get, I don't know how it's going to be. People, while I was doing all these tours, was whispering in my ear, we need somebody to give us some money on sidewalk repair. All I can say is nobody have any money to give anybody, but motor fuel tax allows a 50-50 sidewalk program. And thus, this was created. So we're going to have that going as well. Also, Mayor, the board, let me just tell you that, oh, water. Another night, but last night, I worked exceptionally late, and I don't want to tell people my hours because I periodically get stalked and I want to stay away from that. So I worked late. I mean, really late. And they forgot to lock the door, and I don't have a key to the back door. So I had to have one of the staff to come and lock up. But let me tell you what happened. I decided to, as long as this light, some light outside, I'll be outside. But we didn't have any street lights. So when it got dark, we had to go inside. And I still got a partial mentality, and that is too, because of my eyesight. But just make a long story short, I went out and I almost fell out. And the reason why I fell out was because the stench was so unbearable. And you know sometimes how you don't want to tell people everything. You try to keep something to yourself. Well, one of the employees opened up and just laid it out, told me everything. But she gave me a real description of what she called it. And I gave it a better euphemism and called it, but basically they were in the same defined territory. The stench was horrible. It was horrible. And it came from the water supply system. I'm here to tell you guys, I was so outdone. So of course, I started, and it's nothing worse than experience it yourself. And it carried. I think it was worse than what the corona, that stench carried. Oh, and if you can imagine the worst stench in the world, imagine it. It was horrible. So of course I made a call today, and I guess everybody they were waiting. Nobody called me back. I didn't even go outside to say hi outdoors. I was in the office. No one called me. So tomorrow, I'm going through the chain of command. Tomorrow, I'll call the main man. And I'm not the only one. There are witnesses to that.
Oh, no.
And wait a minute. I also went out one morning with the Public Works. I'm just telling you this. So I would really appreciate everybody. They're good. You know, they may tell Trustee Brooks because he goes around and whatever. But I'm on the peripheral. I go around every morning when nobody's out there, or somebody will follow me back to see where I'm going. But I write down a lot of different stuff. And then there was a group that also took me on the tour to tell me their priorities. But make a long story short, we got to do something. I complain.
Where is it from? Pardon me. Where is it from?
From
Yes.
Aqua.
Yeah, from Weston, from the plant.
Wow.
Now, was this around the building when you came out last night, Ernestine?
Yes, ma'am.
It's all the way around.
Horrible.
It's all the way around here
It
on
was
White Oak
coming.
Lane, too.
Everybody
It
started to
was going
complain
to
about it.
all the way around.
Everywhere.
Yeah, they're
It's
talking about it
Aqua.
now.
What they gonna do
It's
about it?
Aqua.
Okay, well, that's why I got the calls in. But even more than that, I had gone out one morning, early morning, with the Director of Public Works. He said, Missy, I want to come. He said, no, I'm going to drive. So he got me. We went out. This particular day, we were looking at hydrants. I understand, y'all, that they replaced some hydrants, but there are an awful lot that they didn't replace. In fact, there are even more than that where they hadn't flushed. Boy, the stench from the flushing kills you as well. So we could have probably, then another thing, as we talked about, they didn't alert the citizens that they were doing it. And then water was all in the streets. It was flooding, no drain, nobody cleaned the drains, anything out. So that's some of the things that we talk about at these every Thursday meeting. But I just want to alert you all with that stench. Last night, I couldn't deal with. That stench was unbearable, and we got to. So trustee, we got to put that in your subconscious. We definitely have to make sure this Thursday that it's getting worse.
Yeah,
It's getting worse. And the system's supposed to be better, it's getting worse. Let me also mention to this, Old Forge Road, there's a property over at Old Forge Road that has been experiencing this flooding problem for years. The engineers are currently completing their design plan. We're going to repair that, and we're going to do this under the motor fuel tax dollars aren't as large as they used to, but we're trying to keep that within the scope. We're going to do that. It just doesn't affect this one homeowner. This one particular homeowner get a bulk of it because all of the drainage actually feeds in the back of her house. And I just happened to go over there. You know, you don't want to go to anybody's house where they may think you're in. So I went when they were there. But the engineer has been over there. I've been over there. And the mosquitoes are definitely, if you let water stand for a while, they begin to create their own. It's definitely. And that's something, I don't know what happened or why it hasn't been done, but we have to deal with this. So we're going to deal with this. I know it's a long report, but I haven't been talking to you all for a while. But I'm going to be done in a second. Give me a couple of more things. Also,
because we got to be at the other one at 8:30.
Okay. Give me one more thing, and I'll just leave it alone.
I want to give a brief report, and then we'll move on.
Okay. Mayor, I'll just stop, and if any other things, I'll just email it or whatever to the board.
Okay.
Madam Village Manager, when will that Old Forge Lane project get done? Because I would say that the former director of Public Works had been over there, made a promise to that lady, or actually those residents. The former village manager been over there. Everybody keeps coming. Well, put it this way: everybody keeps coming over here, and it does not affect me unless that sewer is backed up. And when it's backed up, I have to say that if it's a heavy rain, if I don't go down there and clear the drains, or those residents down there clear the drain, it floods back. So I was told it was going to be about $12,000 to do it. This is a situation, actually, Trustee McMullen, the drain system they need to put in is something that's behind you and I. You know, this over there.
Trustees.
Done.
Okay, the engineer went over and he's going to give it to me because we had considered a box, but a box has a limit and it will flow and make it even worse. There's a resident over immediately west of you. When I went to his house and I saw his box. He doesn't have the imposition like the one on Old Forge Road. So we're working on it now. It will be done this year. I don't know what happened. I don't know what. I'm trying to find drawings of what the real deal is. There was a something pulled in, it wouldn't work.
All right,
we're going to fix it, and we're going to fix it permanently. And that's what we're doing now.
All right. Write that down, Madam Clerk.
Write it down for me. I already have my copious notes. So.
Listen.
I wrote down the topic and the possible, they're going to be working on it.
Okay. Yep. All right. As we close out, I would just like to let the residents know that COVID-19 is still real and it's very active. Please pay close attention to the precautions. Wear your mask in public as stated, and pay attention to your social distancing. We do not want to have another surge here in Illinois, and better yet in University Park. So please pay attention to it. I know it's a big sacrifice because people are naturally want to get together and enjoy each other. But right now, we just have to pay close attention to the precautions and just follow the governor's order, and we'll get through this. Again, thank you to all of our residents for being responsive to our needs and making sure everyone is kept safe in the community. And we will have further conversations with Aqua. I'll be with Senator Joyce this Thursday down in Kankakee regarding Aqua Water, and I'll give a full-fledged report, if not at the next board meeting, before then. Also, I'd like to say, offer my condolences to Mrs. Vanessa Lawson. Everybody knows her as Star Lawson, on the loss of our dear brother, Eugene Lawson, our public works guy, a devoted husband, father, grandpa, coach, and public works employee. He will be greatly missed. And as we close out, can we just have a moment of silence for all the time and effort that we had shared with Eugene? And thank you, Mrs. Lawson, for sharing your husband with us.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Well, wait, we're doing a motion to go into executive session.
Right. We're gonna make a motion to go into executive session.
All right.
Okay.
Everyone's present.
Everyone's present. Okay, let's make a motion to come back into regular session. Do I have a
I'll
motion?
make a motion.
I'll second it, Mayor.
Motion by Trustee Williams, second by Trustee Brooks. Roll call.
Trustee Williams,
Both aye.
Trustee Brooks, Trustee Brooks,
He froze.
Trustee Franklin,
Both aye.
Trustee Bolden,
Aye.
Trustee McMullen,
Both aye.
He's going down, down, down.
and Mayor Rudez.
Votes aye.
And we still have present with us village manager and the village attorney. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion for adjourn?
So move, Mayor.
Moved by
Second.
Trustee Brooks, second by Trustee McMullen.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None? Madam Clerk, everybody have a nice evening. Thank you
Good
very
night.
much.